The rain came down like shattered glass, cold, heavy, and endless. Nathan Cole adjusted his umbrella, his expensive shoes splashing through puddles as he hurried down the crowded city street. The neon lights reflected off the wet pavement, and people brushed past without a glance. He had no time for distractions. He was the youngest CEO in his company's history, ruthless, brilliant, and completely untouchable. To him, feelings were a luxury, and kindness was a weakness he couldn't afford. But then he heard it. A small, trembling voice beneath the roar of rain. Excuse me. I can't find my mommy." He stopped, frowning. The voice came from near a bus stop. Beneath the flickering streetlight stood a little girl, drenched from head to toe, clutching a white cane. Her pale eyes stared blankly into nothing. Nathan's chest tightened. He looked around for her mother, but the street was nearly empty. People walked by, avoiding her like she was invisible. "Where's your mom?" he asked. I don't know. She said she'd be right back. But I can't hear her anymore," she whispered, her tiny lip trembling. "Are you my mommy's friend?" Nathan hesitated. He glanced at his watch. He was already late for the most important dinner of his career. He could walk away, pretend he hadn't heard. But something about her small, shaking voice cut through the armor around his heart. He sighed. "What's your name, kid?" "Lila," she said, clutching her cane. "Mommy says my name means night beauty. She says I bring light to her dark days." Her words hit him harder than he expected. "All right, Lila," he said softly, removing his jacket and wrapping it around her shoulders. "Let's find your mom." As they walked, she gripped his hand tightly, her cane tapping against the wet sidewalk. "You sound nice," she said. "You smell like rain and coffee. Mommy loves coffee too." Nathan forced a smile. "Do you know where you live?" "Near the park. Mommy says it smells like pancakes in the morning." They walked slowly through the rain, passing people who barely noticed them. He tried to keep his distance, telling himself he was only helping until her mother showed up. But something about her fragile trust made him uneasy. After a long walk, they reached a crumbling apartment building near the park. The paint was peeling, the hall smelled of damp wood and old dreams. Lila's face lit up. "This is it," she said happily. Nathan knocked on the door. No answer. He knocked again. Silence. A door creaked open across the hall, and an older woman peeked out. "Are you looking for Clara?" she asked softly. Nathan nodded. "Yes, her daughter's here. She got lost." The woman's expression fell. "Oh, you don't know?" Lila tilted her head. "Know what?" The woman's voice broke. "Clara passed away 2 weeks ago. Hit by a car downtown. She was all that girl had." Nathan froze. The sound of rain outside grew louder, drowning out everything else. He looked at Lila, still smiling faintly, waiting for her mother to appear. "Mommy's late again, huh?" she said innocently. "She always gets lost. But she'll come back. She promised." Nathan's throat closed up. He couldn't speak. The neighbor sighed, wiping her eyes. "She has no one else. The city's trying to find a home for her, but..." The words blurred together. Nathan barely heard them. His mind flashed back to a memory, a quiet woman in his office, years ago. "Please, Mr. Cole," she had pleaded. "My daughter's surgery is tomorrow. I just need one more day off." He'd barely looked up from his computer. "Company policy. We can't make exceptions." She'd quit soon after. He hadn't thought of her since. Until now. He sat down heavily in the tiny apartment, surrounded by hand-drawn pictures on the walls, all made by Lila. Crayon suns, stick figures, and in every one of them, a smiling woman with brown hair holding the hand of a little girl in glasses. Lila clutched a small teddy bear with a red scarf. "Mommy made this scarf," she said proudly. "She said it keeps him brave when I'm scared." Nathan stared at her, guilt clawing at his chest. The woman who'd begged him for kindness was gone, and her daughter, blind and alone, was sitting before him, still believing her mother would return. "Will you stay with me until Mommy comes back?" she asked softly. Nathan's voice trembled. "I won't leave you, Lila. I promise." That night, he canceled his meeting. For the first time in years, he broke a promise to his business, and kept one to another human being. The next morning, he brought food, clothes, and a social worker. But when the time came to leave, Lila clung to his sleeve. "Please don't go. Mommy said good people don't disappear." Nathan knelt beside her. "I'm not disappearing." And he didn't. Days turned into weeks. He visited every evening after work, reading her stories, teaching her how to use her cane better, helping her learn Braille. She laughed often, a sound so pure it softened every hard edge inside him. The office buzzed with gossip. "The CEO's gone soft," they whispered. But Nathan didn't care. The man who once measured life in profit margins now found joy in the simple sound of a child's laughter. One evening, Lila played an old piano at a charity event. Her small fingers danced across the keys, confident despite her blindness. "This song," she said into the microphone, "is for my mommy, and my friend Nathan. He helped me hear the world again." The crowd applauded, but Nathan sat frozen, tears rolling down his face. After that night, he made a decision that shocked the business world. He sold half his shares in his company and founded a foundation in Clara's name, dedicated to helping blind and orphan children. "Every number has a story," he said at the press conference. "And every child deserves to be seen, even if they cannot see." The media called him a visionary. But he knew the truth, he hadn't changed the world. A little girl in the rain had changed him. Years passed. The world moved on, but Lila didn't forget. She grew into a young woman, her music touching hearts across the country. At one of her concerts, she stood on stage, cane in hand, the spotlight bathing her in golden light. "Tonight," she said softly, "I play for two people, my mommy in heaven, and the man who became my miracle." Nathan sat in the front row, older now, his hair silver at the edges. When she began to play, he closed his eyes and listened, the same melody she'd hummed the night they met in the rain. When the last note faded, the audience rose in thunderous applause. Lila walked toward the sound and found his hand. "I told you Mommy would send a miracle," she said with a smile. He squeezed her hand gently, tears glistening in his eyes. "She did, Lila. She sent you." Years later, when Lila told their story on television, she ended with these words. "I never saw his face, but I felt his heart. I was a blind girl in the rain, and he was a man who had lost sight of what mattered. That night, we both found our way home." Sometimes, miracles don't come as flashes of light from the sky. Sometimes, they come as a small voice in the rain, a whisper that says, "I can't find my mommy," and a stranger who chooses to stop, listen, and care. Because in helping someone else see hope again, we often find the light we'd lost within ourselves.